Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a little get to know me Q&A video. I feel like this video is well overdue. I've posted 4 or 5 videos now and I just feel like I'm over explaining little bits and pieces of my interest to you guys, so I thought I would just throw up a video that has all of those things and all of those answers in one. In case you missed being a part of this Q&A and want to know how to be a part of the next one, I post on my community tab on YouTube asking y'all to ask me questions, and you can either reply to that post or you can follow me on Instagram, and I post one of those question polls on my Instagram stories and you can reply to those. So either way works. So first I'm going to start off answering y'all's questions. I didn't get many questions because I am a very small creator on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So I'm just going to answer y'all's questions first, and then towards the end I'll just start answering some generalized questions, like kind of an FAQ. So the first question on my Instagram stories was, what's your favorite thing about yourself? Also, I think you're wicked AF. First off, thank you, I appreciate that. And I don't really have anything physical that's my favorite thing about myself, so I guess we can go like the emotional mental route. I'm really resilient. I've been dealt a bad hand of cards throughout my life consistently, and it never ends, and I am just still kicking it. I'm pretty proud of myself for pushing through, getting my education, and just sticking around as long as I have, because it's not always been easy and I could definitely take myself out of the equation, but I haven't, and I'm pretty proud of myself for not doing that. So probably my resilience. So the next question was thoughts on nihilism, and I'm gonna be honest, I had to Google what this was, and I'll just give you the definition straight from Google if you're confused like I was. It says it's the rejection of all religious and moral principles in the belief that life is meaningless. I do believe in the rejection of all religions personally. That doesn't mean that anybody else can't be religious or I'm gonna have issues with anyone that is religious. I just personally don't believe in organized religion, and I don't think it's a safe thing to be a part of, but like if you want to, you do you. I have no problem with that. I do have an issue with the rejection of all moral principles. I think there has to be morality and a sense of equity within the world. Equity is a huge thing for me. Also just like being a decent human being. If there's a rejection of that, then I think there's just mass chaos if everyone believes that life is meaningless. People don't take that the same way. Some people just live more freely and they don't feel as stressed, but other people say, well, life is meaningless, so I'm going to take it out on everyone else, and that's just not a good thing. So those are my thoughts on nihilism. I don't want to get too deep. I'm not like a philosopher and I don't want to preach at y'all for anything. So yeah, thoughts on nihilism, not my thing, I guess. Let's move on to an easier question. How many tattoos and piercings do you have? I have 3 facial piercings, not including the 2 earlobes that I have done. I have 6 or 5 tattoos. Hold on, I have to count again. Yeah, I think I have 2 on each arm and 2 like on my torso. So yeah, I only have 6 tattoos. I would love to get more. I used to have my angel fangs done, and then I also had my angel bites done. I had my tongue pierced at one point. I've had these done 3 times, I believe. I've had a helix piercing. I've had a bunch of piercings throughout my life. My body likes to reject piercings very often, so the ones I have I'm very lucky to have, but I always loved having my angel fangs and my angel bites. I miss them very, very much. Next question. Non-goth confessions, like music, hobbies, or goth bands that you're not a fan of. Now, I was thinking about making this a whole video in itself because it used to be a trend on YouTube back in the day for goth YouTubers. It was just like a video that all the goth YouTubers did, ungoth confessions. If you guys want to see that, I can definitely do that because I have quite a few and I would love to make it. So, but I'll give you one right now just to answer your question. I'm really not a fan of wine. I've never found a wine that I like, and that's kind of a trope that like goths like wine and clove cigarettes. I don't really like wine, and I've never had a clove cigarette because they're illegal where I live. So there's an ungoth confession for you. Next question, do you make any money off of YouTube? I definitely do not make a single penny off of YouTube. I don't make any money off of TikTok, and I definitely don't make any money off of Instagram. I've tried very hard to get monetized on all of those platforms, and I just have never made my way to getting monetized on anything. Brands don't really want to work with smaller creators, and I've applied to be a brand ambassador for many companies, but just never gotten the green flag to be an ambassador. So yeah, I don't make any money off of YouTube. I just make these videos for fun and to share my life with y'all, and I like it that way. I'd love to make money off of YouTube because the extra cash would be great, but you know, things don't always work that way, but maybe one day. Now I'm going to move on to the questions that y'all dropped in my community tab on YouTube. The first question I got on my community tab was actually 3 from someone who always shows me so much support on this channel. So to the person that asked these questions, thank you so much. I see you and I appreciate you. What got you into the goth subculture? Wow, big question, I guess. So I got into the goth subculture around 14 years old. I started off with symphonic gothic metal, so like Nightwish and Camelot. I even have a Nightwish shirt. I was a really big fan of them, and then I just started to weasel my way into the goth subculture by doing research, which is what everyone should do. It's really not that hard to do a Google search. And I went onto YouTube, I looked up the history of goth subculture, and then I stumbled upon the infamous goth YouTubers at the time, Drakmakins, It's Black Friday, and those are the only 2 that are popping to my head right now. But It's Black Friday music recommendations really got me into the goth subculture, expanded from gothic symphonic metal. And I really started to get into the basics like Alien Sex Fiend, Sisters of Mercy, Susie Soon the Banshees, Christian Death, all of those like beginner bands, The Cure, Depeche Mode, you know, all of those. I really started to get into those. And then I found myself getting into new wave. So this is where we started getting into the Tears for Fears, the Culture Club, just all of those bands, Duran Duran, you know, look at literally 80s new wave. I really started to get into that, and that's where I found my groove. I did start looking a little bit weirder around then as well, but I could only do so much with living in the South with a very strict grandmother who was my guardian growing up. She did not like that. So I distinctly remember her walking by the TV while I was watching It's Black Friday and her gasping and saying, "Ugh, who would want to look like that?" And I was just thinking like, she's so beautiful. I wish I could look like that one day. I wish I could have that confidence and that freedom to just express myself that way. And look at me now. I'm doing it. And I'm doing YouTube. So yeah, It's Black Friday. If you ever see this, I love you. You are like my bat mother, and you practically raised me. So I rambled enough on that question. I hope you get the gist of how I got into the goth subculture. I just kind of stumbled across the music and then did my research and then really found myself within the subculture. What's it like being a goth in Tennessee? It's a choice. It's definitely not for the weak. It takes thick skin to be a goth in the South in general, not just in Tennessee. Anywhere you go, you're gonna get stares, you're gonna get rude comments, but it really does heighten in the South. I did go to the North for the first time this summer, and I thought it would be a lot more accepting, but no, I did get stares. I didn't get as many comments though. People in the South, they just don't really care So they just say things very blatantly into your face. One time I was in a Walmart and a woman walked up to me, looked me dead in the face, like this close to me, and said, "Ew, what the blank." And although this happens to me quite often, I really struggle with how to react to these situations. So I just started laughing and I was just like, "You're so brave. You're so brave for that." Because I could never imagine going up to somebody and just being that blatantly rude. And I was just like, "You're just so brave." Like, and I couldn't stop laughing. That's most of what happens when people say rude comments to me. It's just a laugh. The people that are around me, like my boyfriend, he will say things back to them or just ask if they have an issue. Most of the time, if you just give them a little wave or a smile or a wink, they're like caught off guard because for some reason they think that you can't see them. I don't know. I'm pretty used to it. Half the time I just ignore it and just keep going. When people take pictures of me in public, that crosses the line. I do have to say something if someone takes a picture of me. I've had it happen very, very often. And the amount of times it has happened is just absurd. So don't take pictures of people in public without their permission. It's just weird. That's pretty much my experience in the South as a goth. Yeah, you just gotta find your community and find your people and just ignore the rest. Their last question is, how did you meet your partner? If you don't know, I have a partner. His name is Austin, and this is an embarrassing story for the both of us, but more importantly, embarrassing for him. We were both emo kids. You know, this is 2013. We're both in our emo phases. I'm very proud of being a former emo kid. Be nice to emo kids. They're really cool, most of them, if you get to know them. And it's just like a rite of passage, honestly. If you were a tween or teenager during 2012 to 2014, you'll know what I'm talking about. But this is right when Instagram was pretty much made. Hashtags were not as flooded and there was no such thing as Instagram DMs. So if you wanted to talk to someone, you had to go in front of everyone, aka their comment section. So I was really into Asking Alexandria at the time, and I had a username that went with Asking Alexandria. Like, do you guys remember, like, it was, I'm pretty sure it was Asking Alex, and then Motionless and Alex, Pierce the Alex. I had all of those, like, throwback. Oh my god, I deserve compensation for that. He was also a really big fan of Asking Alexandria. That was his favorite band, so he found me through either a hashtag or my Instagram username, and then asked me for my kick in my comments in 2013. Just in the open, kick, question mark, and I gave it to him, and we just ended up talking after that. We Skyped a couple of times. Sorry, my ring light died, so if the camera angle changed or anything like that, that's why. But yeah, basically we Skyped a couple of times. We texted non-stop. He had a girlfriend at the time that I knew about. I was not trying to be a homewrecker. Keep in mind, I was 13 years old. 13 years old, you guys. It was not that serious. She didn't like me. She found out that he was talking to me, and we were both obviously like developing feelings for each other, but she was like, you can't talk to her anymore, as she should, honestly. So he stopped talking to me, and then I got in trouble at school, and my grandparents took away all of my technology, and I had to delete all of my social medias. So we lost complete contact until 2015 or 16. I think it was late 2015. There was like, on Tumblr, there was this thing called like a memory jar where you would write little pieces of paper of memories that happened that day or that week, and you'd put them in a jar and put the year on it. And I did that for the year of 2013. And I was just going through it one day, and I had wrote his name down, and I said, do not forget this person. I did forget that person, and I looked him up on Facebook. I found him on Facebook, and I messaged him, and I said, hey, do you remember me? And he replied, "Holy bleep." And that started it all over again. We ended up FaceTiming and texting and all of that stuff. He lived 16 hours away from me, and we had never met in person. So it was really hard to maintain a relationship with both of us being in high school and just having separate lives and stuff like that. But we did get it together towards the end of 2017 and 2018, and we just remained with each other. And I was graduating in 2018, and I went to my grandma and I asked, "Hey, I've been talking to this guy on the internet for a really long time." She knew him because I talked about him all the time and FaceTimed him all the time, so she wasn't surprised about this. And I asked her if it was possible if he could come and visit me for my graduation, and surprisingly she said, yeah, if his parents are cool with it, he can come stay with us for a couple days and, you know, meet you. He had just moved to Tennessee like a month before that, so it was like perfect timing. And we met halfway, and he came to my graduation and I met him, and yeah, that's pretty much it. After that, it hasn't always been the easiest ride, but you know, we're trying. Okay, I am totally rambling today. I'm so sorry. These two questions are from another person that I always see supporting me on my YouTube, so thank you to you as well. I see you and I appreciate you so much. What type of goth subculture would you put yourself in if you could? I would put myself into the 80s goth, new wave specifically. That is my favorite. Some people don't like to count 80s new wavers as goth. I don't really like to get into specifics and arguments about if new wave is goth or not. I'm a new waver, and that has a lot of ties to the goth subculture, so can't deny that. They also asked, are you into religion? I think I talked about this a little bit before with the whole nihilism rant that I went on. I'm not into religion for myself. Of course, I don't have an issue with it for other people. I'm not a fan of organized religion. I think it causes a lot of issues. But, you know, that's just my opinion. Don't come at me for my opinion. Religion is a touchy subject for a lot of people, so I'm not really going to talk about it very often on here anymore. So that's probably the end of me talking about religion, honestly, unless it just happens to come up. The last question is, what is something you really want to do, or do you have a bucket list? There are lots of things I want to do. Most of these things that I want to do encompass me seeing bands that I really want to see. But as for things I would like to do, like on my bucket list, that would be visiting other countries. I'm not a fan of airplanes. I've actually never been on an airplane, and I probably will never get on an airplane. But I love to visit Sweden and Norway and New Zealand. Those countries have always piqued my interest. There's also a couple states in the US I would love to visit if I ever had the chance. Washington, we would love to visit the state of Washington, and Oregon, Colorado, those beautiful, beautiful states. I love the mountains, and I'm a big fan of Twilight, so. Another huge thing that's been on my bucket list that I really hope happens one day is being in a music video and or being on an album cover. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but if it does, I will be very happy. That's been on my bucket list forever. I've always, like, any friends that I've made that are in bands, I'm like, put me on the album cover or put me in a music video. Alright, now I'm just gonna run through a couple of basic questions and give you their answers. I'm hopefully not gonna ramble about any of these, and they'll just be quick, fast, and easy. How old am I? I'm 22. I actually turned 23 in about a week, so getting older. Yay, that sucks. What is your favorite holiday? Halloween. Who would have guessed it? What's one thing that will instantly make your day better? Pike House coffee. If y'all know me, I'm obsessed with Pike House coffee. The coffee just brightens my day. What are you most looking forward to? I'm seeing my favorite band of all time next week, and I've been looking forward to this moment for actually years. I've been a fan since they released their first song, and I'm super excited to see them. What do you wish people understood about you more? That this is not attention seeking. It's just the way I feel most comfortable and the way I choose to present myself. It's not attention seeking. Please understand that. Who is a celebrity you admire? I'm a really big fan of Paris Hilton. I don't know if you guys have caught on to that. I'm a huge fan of Paris Hilton. And Holly Madison. If you don't know who Holly Madison is, she's an ex-girlfriend of Hugh Hefner, but that's not the only thing about her. But that's what people mostly know her from. She is just, like, I don't know. I swear me and Holly Madison have a soul connection. I don't know why, but I just feel it deep in my heart that if we got to know each other, we'd be best friends, you know? What was the first concert you ever attended and the best concert you've ever attended? The first concert I ever attended was when I was 15 years old, and it was the band Ghost. This was right before their Meliora album had come out, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I've seen Ghost a handful of times, met him quite a few times back when it was literally like a religion and they did communion and all of that stuff. It was like I touched him. Like, that's how small the venue was, and I was so close to him, and they've really blown up over the years, so I'll probably never get to see them in such an intimate setting again, so that was amazing. The best concert I've ever been to, oh, it's really hard to choose. I don't know. I have no idea. I've seen Sierra Farrell, if y'all know who that is. She is like a country artist. I've seen Uncle Acid. Uncle Acid was an amazing show. 10 out of 10 if you ever get the chance to see Uncle Acid. Bring some earplugs, but definitely go see them. They put on an amazing show and they sound exactly like their albums and just amazing. I've also seen Orville Peck. Orville Peck was a great show. Loved seeing Orville Peck. I also saw Wednesday 13. That was a crazy show. Like, I could have touched him. We were so close. Yeah, I guess I would say Wednesday 13 is the best concert I've seen, just because that show was insane, and it was literally right before COVID happened, and then everything shut down, and I just seen Wednesday 13. That's like the last thing I remember before COVID, and it was crazy. And he has these like little like fishing worms that he like puts in his mouth and like on the mask behind his head, and one of the guys next to us that stood in line with us all day, he got one and he gave it to me because we've been in line together the whole time. So that dude, you're an OG. Loved you for that. I still have it. What is your favorite movie or movie that you could quote by heart? All right, my favorite movie is 10 Things I Hate About You. I love that movie so much. But a movie that I could quote the entirety of is Shrek. I love Shrek so much. That movie means a lot to me, and I'm actually thinking about getting a Shrek tattoo. That's how much that movie means to me. What is your favorite food? My favorite food is Zaxby's. I love Zaxby's. Zaxby's is my favorite fast food ever, and just like my favorite food in general. I get a traditional wings and things in nuclear sauce with 2 extra things of ranch, and they are my dream sponsor. If I ever get sponsored by anybody, I hope it's Zaxby's. Like, please, Zaxby's, please sponsor me. I will literally get the Zaxby's chicken tattooed on me. Like, I'll do it. If you sponsor me, I'll get it tattooed on me. Promise. Alright, last question, because this video is going to be 50 minutes long if I don't shut up. What is the best advice you have ever received? Alright, this came from a therapist of mine, and he said, why do you trust the opinions of others who you would not trust your purse with? Like, basically, if you wouldn't leave your purse in a room with this person, why do you trust their opinion so much? Or the opinion you think they have so much? I have really bad anxiety. I always think people are talking about me or saying rude things about me, which they often are. But I'm like really paranoid about stuff like that. And he just said, do you trust these people alone in a room with your purse and your social security card? Anything of importance or value to you? And I was like, heck no, brother. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, so why do you trust their opinion? Or what you think their opinion is? Make that make sense. And I was like, word. Word, brother. Word. It didn't heal my anxiety, but it definitely gave me a different perspective on life. So yeah, that's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will definitely make another one of these sometime in the future. So just keep a lookout on my community tab for a post when I do one again. But thank you to everyone who asked a question and was involved in this. I also want to remind y'all to follow me on Instagram. It is Lady Sadie Jade. I always link it in the description box below. But if I'm ever not active on YouTube, I'm always pretty active on Instagram. So you can always find me posting something on there or giving like an explanation to where I'm at. So follow me on Instagram just to keep updated. Other than that, the next vlog that'll go up is just some birthday activities since my birthday's coming up, and I'll post that here soon. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know if you guys want to see that Ungoth Confessions video. I would love to make that video, so if you guys really want to see that, let me know. And be sure to turn on the post notification bell so you never miss an upload from me. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.